The following program is intended for mature audiences.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And download every episode and more at basicallyasportshow.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg,
Mike.
And you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
You guys have seen The Wolf of Wall Street, right?
Yes.
Okay, DiCaprio's dad, Rob Reiner, you know, they show that scene where he starts cussing and swearing at the phone before he picks it up and he's like, hello. That's me when my phone rings.
Yeah, I'm pretty much like that too.
My phone rings and I'm like, God damn it, who the fuck? And then it's like, hello.
Who the fuck is calling me right now?
Yep.
Hey, this is Zach. What's up?
Anyway, what are we doing tonight?
Are we going to talk about Sign Gate?
No. Is this another Patriots thing?
No, it's not. It's actually a Panthers and Packers thing.
Right.
Can we call it Sign Ghazi?
Sign Ghazi? Sure. You can call it Sign Ghazi.
Well, before we move on to that, I just wanted to bring up that I finally watched Draft Day a couple weeks ago. So,
Oh, yeah.
two problems I had with it were the Hollywood trade at the end, which, of course, it's Hollywood, so that's what they're going to do, and the mother showing up with the ashes. I didn't think it
Kevin
was nearly as
Costner
bad.
couldn't do any worse if he actually ran the Browns, so...
No. But I thought it was good. I mean, I know it got panned, but I really enjoyed it, other than the two things. But you got to make allowances for a Hollywood movie, you know?
Well,
But,
the thing is, like, it's just unrealistic.
Yeah.
Like, because we're sports fans and, like, diehard sports fans, and we know how the processes work, It's like, none of that would... No. Nobody's going to trade all their friggin' picks in a round or whatever.
And their whole thing was like Jacksonville's GM was young and inexperienced. He didn't know. No, I don't care how quote unquote young you are. If you're hired to be the GM of an NFL team, you probably know not to do something like that.
I'll trade you my next 3 first-round picks for this linebacker. It's like, what?
We're kind of missing the bigger picture here with what was unrealistic about that movie. I mean, come on, like the Browns could ever outsmart someone?
If the Browns had traded away three number one picks for a line, I could see that happening.
Right. But, like, it's like, no, nobody's going to end up with, like, 3 first-round picks. And then if a guy, no matter what other people he drafted in the first round, if he drafts a linebacker first overall, just because he's the hometown favorite.
Yeah.
Which is a Cleveland thing to do.
Well, absolutely, yeah, that was realistic.
But it's just like...
Good Ohio boy!
Terrible. And like, the GM's not going to tell the owner, you can fire me after this, but I'm going to ruin the franchise, then you can fire me. Don't fire me before I do it.
For people that follow sports and know sports, it had a lot of unrealistic things in it, but I thought it was an enjoyable movie.
Well, the other thing that bothered me, too, was, like, the personal dynamic they tried to throw into it with, like, his mother and the family whole thing.
Yeah.
If his father was the GM or a coach for a very long time, the mother knows how football works. She's not going to be bothering her GM son
during the draft.
Yeah. She's
Right.
not going to be holding this guilt over his head in the middle of the damn first round of the draft.
Well, hell, you know what? Now that we talk about it, maybe it wasn't that good after all. Fuck
No.
it.
It was kind of a dumb movie.
Well, yeah, it was, now that you mention it, but I still enjoyed it. What can I say? It's a guilty pleasure.
I would never watch it a second time.
No. But yeah, it had a lot of stupidity, but I still enjoyed it. I thought it was. Let me put it this way: for what it was, and for all of its flaws, I still thought it was really well done. How's that? Does that make sense? They did a good job with a really unrealistic script and a story that really wasn't about anything, and they still made it kind of work.
Well, that's the other thing that I had a problem. Like, what's the point of this story?
You know, I really don't know.
What is the central plot line to Draft Day?
Cleveland Browns draft some guys.
Yeah.
Right? Who cares?
Damn.
Like, at least with, like, you look at other sports movies, like Major League. Yeah, it's a comedy, but it's a band of ragtag guys. They shove it to an owner and win the pennant. Like, oh, that's exciting. Let's watch this. Whereas this is team executive picks college students.
At least you got a guy from Ohio State. You know,
Well,
it was very Big Ten heavy. The number one pick they thought was going to go overall was from Wisconsin. That's unrealistic too. When's the last time a quarterback from Wisconsin ever did anything in the NFL? Give me a break.
Well, again, I think my problem with it too is just because they try to play it up as this is one day, and just everything that could possibly happen in like an entire off season happens in one day.
Okay, so
like,
it wasn't as good as I thought.
The GM walks in and all of a sudden the quarterback's unhappy. The quarterback's throwing a tantrum the day of the draft.
In the locker room?
In the locker room.
Yeah, okay, well, I still enjoyed it, though.
I saw a very good movie, though.
Yeah? Was it as good as Draft Day?
I saw the Steve Jobs movie.
Oh, how was that? I want to see that.
I thought it was good.
Yeah?
It's nice in that it was a movie about Steve Jobs that didn't kiss the ass of the legacy of Steve Jobs. It was kind of a very, I guess, sober look at his life. You know, it was good, and it was written by Aaron Sorkin, and I like him. There are lots of scenes of people talking while they walk through hallways.
I was going to ask, are there walkie-talkies?
Have to be.
Oh, lots of walk and talks. Only there's like a new repertoire to the walk and talk because I guess it's got like a big screen budget. So it's like Steve Jobs and his personal assistant, and that they're walking down this hallway. And Steve Jobs starts like mentioning like the Apollo 8. I think it was Apollo 8. It was some Apollo program. He mentioned some Apollo launch. Mm-hmm. And then they start like almost like rear projecting an Apollo rocket launching.
During the walk and talk?
Yeah, off the wall. And it's not like that's obviously there, but it's sort of like, here's an Apollo launch as Steve Jobs talks about the Apollo launch. So it's walk and talk now with big screen budget. We could afford NASA stock footage, and it's so it was good. Then I also saw the new Bond movie, Spectre.
Still haven't seen a Bond movie yet. 3 years into this show, and I still have not sat down and watched one, yeah.
You've never seen a James Bond movie?
Not a one. Nope.
Never?
Nope. Can't say I have.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I've been meaning to for a really long time now. I mean, at least 3 years.
There's only 24 of them.
Well, I'll have to pick one out and watch one.
I'd recommend starting with Casino Royale and just watching Daniel Craig's run because they kind of rebooted the continuity with that one.
Well, but I mean,
no, you know what? I want to say that way back I watched a Roger Moore James Bond movie. I don't remember which one though, and I don't know that I watched all of it, but I have seen enough. Nah, I'm not going to give myself the credit on that one. I didn't see enough of it to say I've actually seen one.
Spectre is good because it sort of ties all of the previous Daniel Craig Bond movies together.
Okay.
Right.
There's a return of a classic Bond villain.
Ooh.
Makes its return. So
Is it Pussy Galore?
No.
Oh.
No. If you know anything about what Spectre is, then you already know who it
is. Is Spectre the bad guys to
syndicate?
Bond's? Who does he work for?
MI6.
MI6, yeah. Is that like their arch enemies?
They were the arch enemies, basically the Sean Connery Bonds.
So they're basically the Klingons or the Romulans to Bond's Federation, sort of.
More or less, yes.
Okay, I gotcha.
They've actually been absent from the films since the early 70s due to rights tie-up, but that all got cleared up. So they're bringing Spectre back, and if anyone knows anything about Spectre, you know who the villain is. It's glorious because, god damn it, he's like Bond's arch nemesis, and he's back.
Cool.
And it's Christoph Waltz. So, I mean, how can you go wrong with Christoph Waltz?
Yeah, he's good. The walk and talk. Do you guys know why the walk and talk originated? It was actually born of necessity, not of some sort of artistic vision.
Just to like get the plot across while there's stuff happening.
No, it was because with Sports Night, he thought no one watched it anyway, but he thought it's going to be boring just having people sitting at their desks talking to each other. And they needed some sort of way to give it motion while carrying on the dialogue, and same thing in the West Wing. So that's actually why the walk and talk was born. It wasn't because Aaron Sorkin had nothing to do with it, but I think Tommy Schlamme, the guy that directed Sports Night and West Wing a lot, was because they needed to give some sort of pace to the shows. So that's why it happened.
But then he picked it up and ran, and it kind of became this thing because it's in Newsroom, it's in Sunset,
in every single
it's in
every single sort of property.
Friday Night on Sunset Boulevard, whatever that's
Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
Yes, that one, the Saturday Night Live.
Did you guys ever see that?
I did. It's the best way I could describe it is it's a pretentious version of 30 Rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you like it, Greg?
I liked it till about halfway through. When it quit focusing on television and all of a sudden we've got guys being arrested in Pahrump, Nevada because of the Iraqi war and the drunk TV executive story coming out, that's when I said, you know what, I got to check out. Basically, it was like when Fonzie got superpowers in Happy Days. It was just like, forget it. It's over. But yeah, I liked it. I thought the pilot episode was really good. There were a few really good ones, but no, I could see why it wasn't going to go anywhere.
My problem with Studio 60 was they tried to make it seem like this sketch comedy show was like the most important thing in the world.
Yeah, it was the West Wing at a TV show.
Which is why I think the newsroom works, because you can sort of bring that level of gravitas to like legitimate journalism, like a news network. Like you could bring that kind of this stuff matters kind of urgency to that kind of story, but you can't really do it when it's basically Saturday Night Live.
The newsroom was kind of like Enterprise with Star Trek. Once they finally figured it out, they ended it. The first couple seasons, it was kind of like, okay, it was iffy and spotty, but they finally figured out a pretty good formula for it, and by the time they had it, it was done.
I liked the newsroom from the get-go.
I did too, but a lot of people, if they're in Sorkin, it's like, if you like his stuff, you're going to put up with a lot of stuff, but with the newsroom, if you weren't a Sorkin fan, there was a lot of stuff they wouldn't want to put up with.
I like the newsroom. I just thought it got a little preachy at times.
Yeah, well, I mean, name me a Sorkin show that hasn't gotten a little bit preachy.
Well, I think the other thing, too, is that the thing that bothered me as somebody that, was a journalism major, the retroactive hindsight view of actual events that happen, not like fake events, but actual things. It's like, well, in hindsight, knowing what we know now, this is what I would like to see covered.
This is how it should have been covered instead of the way it was. Well, that's
like, well, then you could do that with anything. Yeah. It makes you sound kind of like a jackass.
Yeah,
I think feels that way about Sorkin as it is.
But lots of walk and talks in Steve Jobs.
Does it have the rat-a-tat-tat Sorkin dialogue style to it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I doubt Steve Jobs ever actually would have talked like that. Like, I'm sure the sentiments were all as accurate as you could hope it to be, but yeah, no, everyone sounds like an Aaron Sorkin character. I found it interesting, but then again, I'm not, like, I have an iPhone, but everything else, I'm kind of PC. I never really bought into the cult of Steve Jobs, so.
Well, I was PC, and then I transferred over to Mac for almost everything else.
Yeah,
but not because I'm like, oh my god, they're all. It's like they're just very nice products.
Yeah, and
they all work well. Like I think the thing that I like most is they just work together.
They work well together, and they work. Period. That I was never into like the I'm an Apple fanboy thing. It was just a matter of which product performed better, and for me, it's just always been the Apple stuff. I mean,
I've got Windows 10 and a PC, and it works just fine for me.
Okay.
You can take your weird,
about, like the thing with Windows is like every new operating system that comes out, the first wave of it is always garbage, and then you have to like give it 6 months, then upgrade, which shouldn't happen. But
yeah, I mean, I'm not an Apple fanboy by any measure, but anytime I have to use a PC, after 5 minutes, I'm like, I don't know how people get through the world using these things. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And it's like, no, I just want you to do what I asked you to do.
But see, I have like the opposite reaction. Like I can't really navigate Apple. Every time I use an Apple, I feel like I've stepped through into this alternate universe where everything is mostly the same, but just slightly different.
There's definitely a learning curve.
Upside down.
There's a learning curve when you switch over. There definitely is. I remember when I first switched. For the first 3 days, I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? But once I figured it out, I'll never go back.
And the stupid hockey puck-shaped mouse?
There's no mouses anymore.
Yeah. I use a mouse.
Yeah, I've got a wireless mouse. It's a...
my mouse has
I just use the trackpad on my computer.
Oh, I hate that. I have to have my mouse. I'm just used to the mouse. I have a Staples mouse I got for $13. It's wireless.
I don't know. I've never had a problem switching between the two because I think I use them equally.
That and everything I've heard kind of makes me feel as if Steve Jobs was kind of an asshole who took credit for work other people did, so.
Okay. Well, it seems to me like that with your attitude towards Jobs and Apple stuff, you should probably get rid of that iPhone and go out and get yourself a good Windows phone.
Do you think you'd still make Windows phones?
Well, I don't know.
I like the phone, well, phone's fine.
The computers are pretty much, and the iPad are pretty much exactly like the phone.
Yeah, at this point, they're all the same.
I'm going to keep the iPhone, although after seeing the movie Steve Jobs, I really want one particular accessory for the iPhone, and was kind of floored that they don't make it already, and so I'm kind of waiting for someone to eventually make it. I want one of those protective cases for my iPhone that makes it look like an Apple Newton.
Okay.
Very specific.
I don't know if there's a big market for that, but okay. It's just been a bad sports week. And it's what, Wednesday?
Yeah. Yeah, we're working through it.
Yeah. I don't even pay any attention to the Blue Jackets anymore, so I don't know if they've
Greg.
if they've straightened it out or not.
Greg, the Blue Jackets.
I know that your Ducks are 4-0 this month, right?
4-0-1.
Oh.
We lost in a overtime.
Shootout.
We lost in overtime to the goddamn Coyotes on Monday because Ryan Getzlaf, in overtime, does a no-look drop pass at the blue line. 3-on-3 overtime, no-look drop pass. No one's there to get it. Surprise, surprise. Arizona comes back on a breakaway, scores.
Well, yeah, that happens.
Yeah, don't do no-look drop passes in 3-on-3 overtime.
Holy hell. There's cause to celebrate. The Jackets do not have the worst record in the league anymore.
Who would that be?
That would be your Toronto Maple Jays.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? We have the Dallas Stars number this season, so fuck them.
You do have more points, though, than the Jackets. You only have 3 wins, but you got 10 points. Jackets only have 8. So I don't know who the big player is this year in the draft, but I guess it looks like we know who's going to be battling out for it.
Sweet, sweet Austin Matthews.
Yeah.
I love how the Coyotes are screwing up their own chances to get Arizona born and raised.
Well, they didn't realize how good Max Domi and Anthony Duclair were going to be.
They probably figured, they're young guys. They'll take like a couple seasons to gel and will suck, and it'll be awesome.
They were going to give them a shot, see if they work. And then, of course, they go out and they're the top 2 leading rookie scorers at this point.
And like Max Domi just goes out, it's like, I will make the league my own.
He's closing in on Ty Domi's point totals already, probably. I think they said, on the Ducks broadcast when he scored, it took Ty Domi
21 years.
Well, I think it took him 5 seasons to get 5 goals or something like that. And Max has already done it in a week.
Well, considering the skilled defensive player that Ty Domi was, I just find that astonishing. Simply astonishing that it took him that long to score 5 goals. Don't you have him on your fantasy team, Zach? Or you got LeClaire? I can't remember.
I picked up Anthony Duclair.
Right, yeah.
And I mixed out on Max, and I wish I could have got him.
Fucking Michigan, I think, has Max.
Yeah, well, see, it was one of those things where I was going to draft him at the end of the first round, and he was listed as a center to start off the year, but now he's a winger, so now I could have picked him, and he would have slid in just fine.
Does he have dual eligibility, or is he just a winger now?
No, he's got dual.
Oh, see, I love guys like that. If I can get a guy that's pretty good that can play both positions, that's the greatest.
Yeah, so, screw me.
Hey,
Whatever.
you know what? Maybe I should go back to being a Rangers fan. They're 11-2.
What is some sort of reverse jinx on the Blue Jackets?
Well, I'm just thinking, I've only been away for about a year and a half, so it wouldn't really be that bad for me to come back.
McCarthy would be devastated.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. At least they finally won a game, for fuck's sake. I mean, God.
So I'm curious, when you go to when you're in Florida,
yeah,
how far will you be from the Florida Panthers and or the Tampa Bay Lightning?
From Tampa, I'll be about maybe 2 hours, and from Florida, probably more like 3.5 to 4.
Because I was thinking that if you were closer to South Florida, then you could be the number 1 Florida Panthers fan.
I want nothing to do with that part of Florida. I don't want to go anywhere near it. It's just insane. It's just too much traffic and too many people, and no. And it's like almost a straight shot from where we're going to be over to whatever they call the arena now, where the Lightning play. So that's where I'll be going. Plus, I have family over there. My uncle is over there. My mom's going to be over there. So yeah, that's where I'll be going to see my hockey games.
But I have a feeling that tickets will be harder to come by in Tampa than they will be in Sunrise.
No doubt about it.
I mean, you could probably buy a nosebleed ticket to a Panthers game, walk in, and just walk right into their VIP level.
It'd be like that old joke. I'd call and say, "What time's the game tonight?" And they'd say, "What time can you be here?"
I still think that would be a good place for a board meetup.
Hey, speaking of the board meetups, did you guys see Andy's doing a new show, a new podcast?
Oh, is he?
Yes, he's going to interview. He's going to interview what he refers to as prominent members of the boards. I said this is a fantastic idea.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, and I get to be the test subject in show number 1 tomorrow night, where we're going to interview me as a person, not as Infrared 41, but as an actual human being. I don't know if there's a difference. Yeah. Yeah.
You're not people.
I know, but I keep thinking he should call it like behind the avatar or something like that, or behind the.
No, he should call it in phone.
Oh, there you go.
You know what? I can't wait until he gets to Tank.
He said that Tank is on his list of people he wants to interview. He's using me because he knows me and he knew I would do it. So I don't consider myself a quote unquote prominent member of the boards. I've been there a long time. But yeah, so if you can't get enough of me on the 2 shows I'm already on, guess what? I'm going to be on another one. So there you go.
That'll be fantastic.
I know.
I
love me some me.
I don't think Admiral would do it.
Well, how do we define prominent board member? I don't even know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a guy that has a lot of.
You know who would do it though? And this is kind of strange because they're kind of the same type of poster, but I think Gothmite would do it. Admiral wouldn't, but I think Gothmite would.
Yeah, he probably would. We'll see. Like I said, I love me some me, so I love talking about myself, so I got no problem with that.
You're just shameless.
To be honest about it, yeah. Anyway, I made a trade too in the CHL
I know. I approved it as soon as I got home from work.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the smartest move I've ever made, but I had to do something.
You should have texted me and been like, Mike, I immediately regret this. Can you veto the trade for hockey reasons?
I don't think I regret it though. I don't think Rask is going to turn it around. I don't. He was better than this last year, but still pretty inconsistent. And if you guys remember when we were doing the draft coverage show, when I said I kept Rask over Bishop, you guys were like, why?
Yes.
So I kind of fixed it. I gave up Hedman, but I got Shea Weber in return, so I'm not too worried about it.
Mm.
And I'm going to trade somebody.
He's no Seth Jones.
Well, no, I had to make a move at goalie. I was just getting killed. I looked at, of my 6 losses, 4 of them were directly due to goaltending. I said, I can't live with this anymore. It's just,
I mean, honestly, you just have to look at what happened last season. Tuukka Rask and the Bruins kind of flamed out, whereas the Lightning with Ben Bishop, they made it all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. So
yeah,
I don't know what you were thinking on that one.
With Rask, you mean?
Yeah, why you picked Rask over Bishop?
Yeah, I tell you why, because I looked at all these quote unquote experts in fantasy hockey, and they're like Tuukka Rask, blah blah blah. I'm like, well, my gut says keep Bishop, but they all think that Rask is going to be better, and I did. So basically, I screwed Zach out of Hedman and then gave him to somebody else.
Yeah, you're a dick.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that.
And for that, I will beat you this week.
I could have had Hedman and 3 guys just like him. I'm still going to lose.
Although I forgot to set my lineup on Monday. There was only one game. It was Ducks Coyotes. I had 2 Ducks with 3 points each, both on my bench. Kessler and Vatanen were both on the bench.
You have some injury issues too.
Yeah, I'm actually dealing with that right this second. I'm putting guys on IR and picking
Don't talk to me about injury issues of Connor McDavid and Duncan Keith both out.
No,
I'm just saying, Zach, Chris Kreider, I would let you have him for your 3rd round pick next year. We'll do the deal right here over the phone.
We can't trade draft picks, I don't think.
We can.
Yeah, we sure can.
We can?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well.
I don't know how it works, but I do know I've saw the option available.
Yeah.
That's okay.
You sure?
Yeah, I picked up some guys on the waiver wire just now.
Okay. I'm just saying, because he's on, everybody's on the block at this point, but
yeah, he's
there if you want him.
My problem is that when these guys come off injury, I don't know what I'm going to do with the guys that are injured. Probably just get rid of Jonas Hiller. 2-4. 861.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where everyone saw the Flames make this miracle run last year, and I think everyone was thinking oh, Jonas Hiller, he'll be a solid choice, and then they have the worst start in franchise history.
Yeah, and you know what? I tell you something else I did too is I really overestimated the value of my young guys. I let Blake Wheeler was sitting right there. He's like the 3rd highest rated right wing.
I've got him.
Yeah. But anyway, we're getting way inside baseball here. What else should we talk about?
Let's finish off our main discussion with something very nice.
Okay.
Have you seen the Montreal Canadiens Winter Classic sweaters?
Oh, they're beautiful.
I did.
It's basically a reverse of the home jersey. White base, the stripe around the chest, but they're using a lighter blue and the white C logo for the Canadiens.
It's the older version of the current logo with the
without the outlines around it and stuff. And I think the coolest part about this, the globe patch on the arms, like they wore when they were the world champions way back when.
Oh yeah, back when teams would do cool things like that. Yeah. And this is just, I mean, the number font is a little wonky, but I assume that's just accurate to how numbers were cut back then. I dig it. It's not going to replace the primary look anytime soon, but this is perfect. I would keep this as an alternate.
I'm with Zach. I love the globe thing. That's really cool. And just a little note here, NFL, this is how you do it. Yeah, these are awesome. They're perfect.
They're great. Basically, it's broken down by all hail our leader, Chris Creamer. Base design of the 40s with the chess logo of the 20s with a shade of blue from 1909 and the globe from 1925.
Yeah, because the blue is very Nordique-esque, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of for the Winter Classic, because these are actual, way back original teams, the sweater style collar that they've made for these jerseys?
It definitely looks a lot better than that stupid, cheap-looking collar that the Brooklyn Nets hockey department have brought out.
Yeah, the one that looked like the cheap Walmart jerseys.
Yeah.
I will say this about the collar, okay? It's done well enough that it didn't jump out at me that it was different until you brought it up.
My only critique is that the NHL logo, it's just like there. Like,
to me, it looks like it's where it's supposed to be, though.
Well, if you look closely on it, like, you know how, like, when you have those types of crew cut sweaters, there is some, even on regular sweaters, there's like a V of fabric.
Yeah.
That goes underneath the collar. If you look closely, that's basically what's going on there. There is still the V that there would be on these modern collars.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you the look like it's just a crew neck sweater.
Usually I'm kind of against faux backs for teams as old as the Canadiens, but they just had their 100th anniversary where they wore all of their old uniforms. So, and
they've worn the same thing for the last, 80 years.
Yeah, their first 20 years they experimented, and then they settled into something, and they've been like that ever since.
Yeah. So, when they did the Heritage Classic against the Flames, and it's like, oh, we're wearing a 1980s throwback. Are ya?
I guess.
There's no names on it. And the striping is a centimeter thinner.
Yeah, but you see, this is the nice thing about a uniform that is perfect. There are just minor differences over the years because you got it right. You don't have to mess with it. And this is cool. I don't mind the faux backs so much because sometimes they turn out pretty cool. These are nice. These are really good. I like them. And I think I even like the number font now that I get a good look at it. I think it looks good.
I don't think anyone's going to advocate going to such a retro design like this full time, but the positive reception that these uniforms have had has reopened the debate. Should the Canadiens use a white jersey with the blue stripe as their primary road uniform?
Yes. Yeah, are you talking about the 1940s one, like the one they wore a few years back? Oh, yes, absolutely. That is probably my favorite jersey ever. I love that thing. Yeah, it's just awesome.
I like it too. Yeah. I also prefer, because I think the Canadiens chest stripe, on the regular Reds, is such an iconic look. But I also agree with two sentiments voiced by McCarthy and Admiral in that thread. McCarthy doesn't like the 40s version because there's too much blue on the jersey. So you add that with the blue in the pants and the blue elsewhere, it makes that jersey very blue-centric on the road and kind of evenly balanced with red and blue at home. And what Admiral said, which I also agree with too, is the chest stripe at home is the Montreal Canadiens heritage classic look. Much like the Yankees with the pinstripes at home. But the road jersey doesn't look anything alike. And it allows them to be a little bit different and maybe experiment with the road jersey. And I wouldn't be against them doing that either. Basically, the Canadiens can't really screw it up, is what I'm saying.
The sentiment that I like is that the Canadiens should just wear red all of the time until they play, say, Chicago. The more I've thought about it, I agree with that because that debate flared up on the CCLC again, darks at home or whites at home, basically.
Yeah.
And I always find myself going back to the Clash Kit idea because there's no universal answer. The Leafs, for example, should wear white as much as possible. The Canadiens should wear red as much as possible. So, yeah, just let each team designate their primary color and
right. I'm okay with that. I always thought too that if you couldn't decide which way, split it up. You got 41 games.
They do that in the AHL, don't they?
I think one of the leagues they do that. Yeah,
they do it in the AHL. I don't like that. I would just go with a straight clash kit system, like the Blue Jackets and the Rangers, for example, to use two of your teams, Greg. Blue Jackets and Rangers would both wear blue most of the time, except if they were visiting the other one, and then the road team would then break out the whites as sort of a clash kit.
So basically, like if the Red Wings played the Ducks, they could both wear dark because it would be okay.
Well,
or not.
In this ideal universe, the Red Wings would designate white.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Their white jersey, because that's their original jersey. You get the Red Wing effect. That's why they.
There are very few hockey jerseys that I don't prefer the white version to the dark one. I think that's a great idea. Just like, you pick one and that's your primary color, and so you need a clash kit. Why can't we do that in every sport?
One thing soccer got right. Yeah.
The only things. Ladies and gentlemen, a lightning round of Zach's Tabs.
Zach's Tabs!
Go!
Wow. Okay. So, one of my favorite cities to pronounce in Canada, the Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Saskatoon. So up in Saskatoon there, the Blades, they're having a new jersey there, right? So for the new Star Wars movie coming up, they released a Star Wars jersey there.
Keep in mind that they're still getting the prequels in Saskatoon.
Because Saskatoon might as well be Hoth, they put the Battle of Hoth on the jersey.
Oh, that's pretty ugly.
That is minor league sports.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. That looks like something my 6-year-old nephew would wear as a pajama top. But I like the sentiment.
Have you heard the trials and tribulations of the Flint Firebirds?
Oh, this is amazing.
I have not.
Well, they're a brand new team in the OHL, the Junior League in Canada.
Michigan.
In Flint, Michigan.
Former home of the Flint Generals, by the way, of the old IHL. Go ahead.
Essentially, it comes out that the Firebirds owner made the team basically so they could draft his son, Hakan Nielsen, and his friends and get them some playing time in the OHL to possibly get them, a look from NHL squads.
Yeah.
Daddy went out and built a hockey team so his kid and his buddies could play on it?
Yeah, but that's just the start of the story. We're not done, because that's funny in its own right. We're not done. After a come-from-behind victory, a thrilling victory, they were down 3-0, won in overtime 4-3 over the Oshawa Generals. The owner fired the entire coaching staff because he felt they weren't giving his son enough playing time.
Oh, my.
After they heard about that, every single player, including the owner's son, stormed upstairs in the front office, took off their jersey, threw it down at his desk, and quit. The entire team quit.
Like a scene out of Rudy, basically, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
And eventually, the coach was reinstated a couple days later. I don't know if they've come to a resolution with the players and with the rest of the league yet, but
wow,
yeah.
God. If I was that guy's kid, I would just be mortified, wouldn't you?
Well, according to sources, the son could be heard making phone calls to his father saying, "What the fuck are you doing? You can't do this."
Good. Hey, it's bad enough. The kid's got to live with the fact that his dad bought a professional sports team just so he could play on it. Like, that's not enough to carry around?
Wouldn't it be hilarious if the kid never even wanted to play hockey? Like, it's like, Dad, it's like I've been accepted into Harvard Law School.
No, you're playing hockey.
You're playing hockey in Flint, Michigan, damn it.
I'll show you. I'm going to make you play in Flint.
The name of the head coach for this team, by the way, which is also good, John Gruden. Spelled the exact same way.
I want it to be the same John Gruden. Like, that's what he does after Monday Night Football. He, takes the charter flight back to Flint to coach hockey.
We'll stay on hockey for a second, or it's hockey with a transition into football, because we've talked about the troubles the Barclays Center has had with the Islanders in Brooklyn.
Jeez, yeah.
Oh, yeah, but they've got that car.
Well, they're also having troubles with the scoreboards. During the game last Sunday, they were showing out-of-town scores on the scoreboards around the arena. Well, they mixed up the logos.
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
They can't even beat a fucking hockey team. Look at that.
They had the Winnipeg Jets beating the Jacksonville Jaguars.
28-23.
Packers losing to the Florida Panthers.
Wow, the Florida Panthers are beating the goddamn.
Neither one of these are really that far off the mark. I don't think the Jaguars could beat the Jets, the Winnipeg Jets, and, I think the Packers would have a hell of a time with the Florida Panthers. So, all right.
You just make the Winnipeg Jets play professional football for the first time in their lives. They could probably beat the Jaguars,
That's what I'm saying, yeah. I mean, look, I've told you the Packers' defense is bad. They gave up 37 points to a hockey team.
Yeah.
Wow.
Roberto Luongo with, that clutch catch, he really sealed the game for him.
This thing in Brooklyn's just not working out real well, is it?
It's interesting. So we'll use that to transition into football.
Okay.
And talk about the Washington professional football franchise. Have you heard about the lawsuit that the Redskins have filed against the Patent and Trademark Office?
No.
Well, the Redskins are trying an interesting tactic here. They're listing a bunch of companies or other slogans that are potentially offensive or obscene that have received trademark protection anyway, to try and say, well, you think these are offensive, but you're giving them it. So they produced a hilariously long and absurd list of companies and slogans. So I'm going to read them all off really quickly. Here we go. Take Yo Panties Off Clothing, Dangerous Negro Shirts, Slut Seeker Dating Services, Dago Swag Clothing, Dumb Blonde Beer, Twatty Girl Cartoons, Baked by a Negro Bakery Titty Blend Coffee, Retardopedia website, Midget Man Condoms and Inflatable Sex Dolls, Jizz Underwear, TeensDoPorn.com, MilfsDoPorn.com, Thug Porn, Ghetto Booty, and Gangbangs. We continue with Marijuana for Sale, Capitalism Sucks Donkey Balls, Licensed Serial Killer, Yid Dish, Dirty Whore with 3 O's Clothing Company, Murder for Hire? Question mark. Shank That Bitch the board game. Jacka-Ass skateboards with Z's in the word ass. Anal Fantasy Collections. Clitoris spelled with a K. Amazing Sex Toys. Hot Octopus. Anti-premature ejaculation cream. Old Geezer Wines. Edible crotchless gummy panties lingerie. WTF Work online forum. MILF weed bags. Ringo Style Salsa, Make Your Own Dildo, Gringo Barbecue, Contemporary Negro, F'd Up, White Trash Rebel, I Love Vagina, White Girl with a
who doesn't?
Party with Sluts, Crippled Old Biker Bastards, Dick Balls.
Hey, wait a minute. Crippled Old Biker Bastards. What the hell's that all about? Now I am offended.
Redneck Army Apparel, Oh, My Nappy Hair Shampoos, and Horse from Hell musical bands, Laughing My Vagina Off in Entertainment, Nappy Roots Records, Booty Call Sex Aids, Boys Are Stupid, Throw Rocks at Them Wallets, and Dumb Blonde Hair Products.
One serious note on this, other than the Negro mentions, not one of them targets a specific group of people.
I don't think this is the best way to get the Patent and Trademark Office on your side.
I understand the argument. It's just not. It's probably not the way to go.
No, and it doesn't really hold a lot of water either. Because, like I said, other than the Negro references, none of those are the same as calling a football team the Redskins. It's just not.
God,
but I got to say, Baked by a Negro is fucking hilarious to me.
Baked by a Negro, yeah. God damn it.
And the last thing I wanted to finish with, just because it's sort of serious, but it's kind of dumb at the same time. This controversy regarding the red cups at Starbucks.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
How dumb is this?
It's dumber than... God.
Basically, if you don't know already, these Christian groups are mad that this year's red cups at Starbucks for their winter season are just plain red with the green Starbucks logo on them.
And I think they look really good.
Yeah, they're fine. But they're mad because they're taking the Christmas off their cups.
Well, and one pastor, and I am not making this up, said Starbucks did this because they hate Jesus.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's funny because if you go back and look at the other red cup designs in their history, yeah, there's designs on them, but they're just wintry scenes.
Mm-hmm.
They're snowflakes, people riding sleds. There's not even a Christmas tree on these things. There's no Christmas trees, there's no menorahs, there's none of this stuff. It's just wintry scenes. When people say, oh, the Starbucks red cups are back, they're not saying, oh, the Starbucks Christmas cups are back. They say the red cups for winter are back.
Well, okay, you said there was a serious part to this. What is the serious part?
I guess it's not. It's serious in that people are, it's getting people angry.
I'm curious. Was that pastor who said that Starbucks hates Jesus, was he the same one who threatened to set himself on fire if gay marriage became legalized?
I hope so. Yeah, I mean,
some of these Christian groups are then trying to quote unquote prank Starbucks by going in and when they say, "Oh, and who's this for? What's the name on it?" Mm-hmm. They say "Merry Christmas."
Yeah.
So that when they call their name out, they write "Merry Christmas" on the red cup.
Does anybody really?
Except that Starbucks always gets those names wrong. So
yeah, really. Is Monty Christmas here?
You can still buy Starbucks Christmas blend from the store.
No. See, they hate Jesus, so come on, they can't do that. I have never understood why there is such an uproar over something so fucking innocuous as that.
And it's hilarious because for as much as people like to say there's a war on Christmas, every single year during the holiday season, I hear plenty of, Merry Christmases.
Yeah.
So, I don't get where this war on Christmas is coming from because as far as I can tell, plenty of people are still wishing other people a Merry Christmas.
Right, and if you say Happy Holidays to me, I don't automatically assume that you're a Satan-worshipping heroin junkie or something like that, It's just so fucking absurd. I just, there are real battles to be fought out there, and this isn't any of them. It's ridiculous to me.
Starbucks' official statement is in the
fuck
past.
Off? That's what it should be.
It should be. It's in the past we have told stories with our holiday cup designs. This year we wanted to usher in the holidays with a purity of design that welcomes all of our stories.
It's just a nice, solid, understated
It's a red
look.
cup with a green logo on it. Red plus green equals
Christmas.
Mexico.
Or Bills Jets this Thursday.
But I'm just gonna go. Trying to punk Starbucks by saying Merry Christmas is just not going to work. It's like Larry Xmas,
right?
Or
or they're going to actually write Mary.
Yeah, they're going to screw it up left and right.
No, watch it. Some guy's going to write Merry Xmas, and then he's like, "See, they're trying to take the Christ out of Christmas."
That's another one that drives me nuts. That's not at all why they use Xmas.
In the early 1900s, right when newspaper was the premier way to advertise.
Yeah, Christmas is long.
Christmas is a long word. And if you wanted an ad, the larger it was, the more expensive it would cost. So a lot of retailers would abbreviate Christmas Xmas to save room so they wouldn't have to pay as much for a newspaper advertisement. That's all it was.
There's a lot of reasons for it. None of them are because they're trying to take the quote-unquote Christ out of Christmas. It has nothing to do with that. Mm-hmm. People are just so fucking stupid. I don't even know what to say about it anymore. I just don't know.
Yep.
Happy Hanukkah, everyone.
You know
Happy
what?
Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa. And what's another? What do the Buddhists do? I'm going to wish everybody a happy...
Buddhists don't have holidays. I don't think they do.
Oh, well.
It's a Festivus for the rest of us.
There you go. All right, is that it?
That's it.
Okay, well, follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports. Website is basicallyasportshow.com. Twitter, Spreaker, Stitcher, the iTunes, and I think I got them all.
YouTube.
Did I say that one? Okay. Anyway, so that's it. We are done. We will see you next week. Merry Kwanzaa.
Merry. Happy Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa.
It's baseline is it's November 11th. We're not holidays.
Oh, speaking of that, it is Veterans Day. So if you are a veteran and you happen to listen to the show, thank you very much for your service and keep doing what you're doing. Okay, we will see you later.
Bye.
Happy Hanukkah.
Please hang up and try again.